So, welcome to another day of a painting a day. Well, I feel that I'm not done with this Egyptian book. There's just so many beautiful images in it. I just think that I'm inspired about this topic here. So, rule number one: always paint with your heart. Right? Like, so choose something you like. I really like this one. I just think it's so intricate right here. I'm not sure that I am ready to get super detailed. It was kind of spooky having to make pictograph yesterday with a tiny brush. I'm not gonna put myself in that situation today. Oh my god, look at this. Could also be a good one to paint. Oh yeah. It's a beautiful book. I keep going back in my mind about this because I can see how this could be like a cute painting. And when I see a reference picture like this, I'm trying to break it down. Like, I need a very light background with a very pale bluish tone and some really like buttery yellow, and then make a transition into something red down here, and then come on top of it with clouds, and then the final step would be the silhouette drawing. So I think I can break this down into what steps to take, and they are like so different from when you work with watercolor, where all of this guy up here would be like one wet wash. But with oils, I think I should approach it in a layering style with a lot of blending. So this would actually be a good one. I'm gonna try and make this one for today. Okay, let us midway talk a little bit about my palette setup here. First of all, I think it's unusual to see an oil painter painting out of an ice cube tray. But you know what? This ice cube tray is just so good for me. It got water and airtight lid, so I can actually case it off because I got a cat. So I'm pretty sure that no cat will come near the content of this paint when it's closed off like this. Plus I can start stacking things on top of it. You know how messy I am in my room. So I'm a stacker, right? So this works so good for me. And then when I need to do my step outs of colors, you know, like normal, sane oil painters squeeze out their paints on this wooden palette, and then with the palette knives they make step outs of the colors. I just do it separately here because I want to be a person who clean up my palette from every painting session. And I've decided that because I could be the kind of person who would not decide a reference photo out of something that inspired me, like this picture here, but because I got leftovers on my palette, I would be like, oh, I'm so frugal, I need to use up what I got on my palette, and that would restrain me to paint something in the colors that are out here. So I'm trying only to take out the little amount that I think I need and then clean it off when I'm done. So every day I hopefully will start with a new clean palette, so I wouldn't, because I know myself, right? I wouldn't be triggered into forcing myself to paint something with what's already on my palette. And that's just because I know myself. I'm painting with water mixable oils from Cobra. according to the instructions, I can rinse my brush with only water, but I don't think that it rinses out the water. I mean, I just don't think that it rinses out that well. But maybe it's because I'm used to regular oil where you use like mineral spirit to clean your brushes with. So I went online and bought myself a soap bar that people who paints with oil uses for their brushes. So I keep this next to my water jug, and then when I paint and I need to rinse out some of the paint, I dip my brush into the water and then I twirl it around on the soap bar, and then on the edge of my container I make this twirling motion, just kind of forcing out the paint, and then I dip it down below where there is a grit in the bottom of my tray to pick out the residue, what's in the brush. And then when I wipe it off with a paper towel, I actually get a pretty clean brush. So that's the only way I have had good experience with the water-soluble oils from Cobra when it comes to rinsing out your brush. But the water mixable oil is not as creamy as my regular oils, so I am experimenting at the moment with 3 different things. The rumor is that you can use a painting medium made by Cobra, and it looks like this. I just personally think that this is nothing but linseed oil. There are no mineral spirits in it, and if you have tried to use just linseed oil as your painting medium, you will know what I'm talking about when I say that it can get so oily that it almost like drip, you know, and that's not a controlled way for me to paint because I'm a newbie. So I feel that if I get too oily a mix on my canvas, so it's like almost dripping, that it's not nice to paint with. I like that creamy feeling from regular oil. So I went out and then I bought a pigment-free transparent paste from Cobra. This is actually just oil paint, but it's colorless. So it gives you a good way to make your paint transparent, but it does not make a glob of oil creamier, you know, because this is creamy, yes, but if you add it to a glob that's not so creamy, even though that you mix it in well with a palette knife, you still don't get a totally creamy oil. So I had to go back to the traditional old school, you know, the one that I like to use when I use regular oil, and that's my Gambling Galcug gel, and it's full of mineral spirit. So it's kind of, you know, not what I wanted to bring into my studio, but I squeeze out something on my palette and then I dip in it to make my paint more smooth and elastic. And I need to do so because this palette, it's out on my desk with this lid on for as long as it can. I just started this project recently, so and I have been having this palette out because I've been working on other stuff, you know. But so far I think it's holding up good. Do I have any? No, I don't have any examples. But I really think that it's holding up good, and I'm still waiting to see when it's going to form a skin, so it's kind of done and I need to scrape it out and refill it. But yeah, I really like this way of painting. I feel that I forgot to say something. What could that be? I talked about the paste. I feel that there was like one other thing that was important to say about this water mixable oil. Maybe I'll remember it. But, oh yeah, now I remember it. It's water mixable oil, but you still need to remember the fat over lean principle if you're not painting alla prima. And I really want to finish a little canvas every day, so my painting style would be the alla prima, so I wouldn't have to worry about the fat over lean principle. But I wanted to say that if you paint with water mixable oils and you use this painting medium, you can get that very lean coverage on your canvas, and then just let that be your fat over lean principle. So I think that works better than trying to dilute it with the transparent pigment-free paint. Yeah, I think that was it. But let me just continue. I just blocked in some of the sky, and I went totally red down here because I think it would be a pop color when the black silhouette comes on top of it. I am a little bit surprised how easy it is to work with silhouettes. Like, I don't know, it just takes away a lot of painting details. So definitely for those days where I feel that I don't have time to do a long daily painting, I think I should write behind my ear that working in silhouettes is actually a very good way to accomplish something fairly quickly, actually. So, but I still had this intricate detail of that camel. It's the first time that I'm painting a camel, so thanks God that I had to do it from a silhouette. I still think that I'm struggling with finding a tiny brush that's good for details. I am so tempted to break out one of my watercolor brushes, like a size 0, and yeah, I think it should be worth it. So I'm still pondering about whether I should take a vinyl brush or if I should try like a real hair, you know, like synthetic hair brush. But I'm really pleased about this painting session. It was really enjoyable, and I think it's because I like the image, reference image, so much. So I liked it a lot. I think it turned out good. I still haven't signed it. I think I should have signed it with some white paint, so I'm gonna wait until the black is curated for a couple of days before I do so. But thank you for watching. I think this is fun. So I wish you a nice day. Bye bye.